Now, the push is on to go more electric. I'm still in the Netherlands and all this stuff, China, watching things. The new electric cars, let's be honest, are so expensive that for most of us they're preventative. But charging points, unless you've got your own driveway, let's be honest, the middle classes will be the first to be able to embrace this without, difficulty, because they have a driveway. Arby Street doesn't have driveways, so if I can't park in front of my house, how can I charge my car? And then if I put a wire across the footpath, what happens if somebody trips on it? These are the practicalities we've been talking about now for years. But I have a very wee bit of good news. Provisional locations for faster project charging stations have been revealed across Western Scotland, Northern Ireland and the Republic. Derry City and Strabane District Council is to get... I need a drum kit. Remember we drum kit? 2. We're getting 2 fast chargers. I know there's one on the waterside, but we're going to be getting one in the Foyle Arena and one in the Foyle Valley Railway car park. Both very accessible sort of parts of the town. So Darren Henderson is the co-founder of the Electric Vehicle Association for Northern Ireland, a not-for-profit community interest company. Darren, small mercies, eh? How are you?
I'm doing very well, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, what do you reckon? There's going to be no champagne popped, I would have thought, in the association, eh?
Well, look, all new chargers are welcome, coming from such a low standpoint that we have for years. So this is welcome. It's 19 locations and 24 chargers, which on its own more than doubles what was already there in the years leading up to this. And in December alone, we actually also added another 21 from other charge point providers. So it is very welcome news, and things are gladly starting to turn the corner.
But what happens when, and it will happen, won't it? Or will hydrogen beat it to it? But the tipping point seems to be the electric car tipping point, when tens of thousands, maybe more, will need the things. And if they can't get them done at home, they'll be depending on... You're talking there, still fewer than 100 in Northern Ireland. And I believe, Darren, not a single charger on the entire North Coast, like Tourism Central.
Yeah, the North Coast, sadly, is a bit of a wasteland. But we have spoken to many charge point providers. Faster, unfortunately, aren't putting any up along that North Coast area, but other charge point providers do intend to cover that area, particularly because of tourism. It's really important.
Right, so what about ASB here then? I mean, and the minute I talk about this, or if I had time to put it up on Facebook, I know that post will be saying, this one's broke, that one's broke, this one's too slow. All of that stuff, Darren, bring us up to speed.
Yeah, look, all of the charge point providers that we know of, some of them local, like Weave and Maxwell, have really stepped up to the mark and really turned things around from December there. Faster's announced now that the one area that needs some impetus is ESB. We need DFI and ourselves to lobby ESB to get things going. They were granted money from central government to transform this network, and they haven't actually started yet. They've missed deadline after deadline. We really need to push them now.
Isn't it in their interest? I would have thought a far-sighted businesswoman or businessman would say, it's the direction of traffic. Let's get a couple of fast chargers out the front there, and they'll be the early adopters will come here and do their shopping. You know what I mean?
Oh, completely agree, and that's the message we give to ESB. ESB's network, as you may know, is currently free, so that actually makes it quite competitive for them for trying to hold on to the market. But they're in such a low state of reliability at the minute, it's actually damaging them. So they really need to step up to the mark and get that replaced.
Well, there you are. Why do you think it's so slow? Is it politics, lack of politics, Darren? What are your primary concerns? Knowing what you know.
It's certainly been, politics has been involved in this, and some commercial positioning has been involved in this. But like I say, from December, things have changed. There's also some legislation issues in Northern Ireland with the cost to put these rapid chargers in, which is many times more expensive than the rest of GB and Ireland. That's in the EV Task Force Action Plan to address that. So thankfully, things are starting to move forward. And we hope to see great changes in 23.
Well, look, in fairness to ESB, I mean, they have raised charging points, we note, in the Republic a couple of times, and they're still free up here. I imagine that's sort of a stay of execution, really, is it, Darren? Only a matter of time.
Yeah, they've announced on a number of occasions that payment would come in. They've missed those those dates, unfortunately, but they tell us early in 23 that payment will come in, which will be good, because some of the problems are that will give them a revenue stream to maintain the chargers if they're broke, but it would also if we note that some people would park on it for hours and hours and hours because there is no charge.
Yeah,
that sort of overstay would be if there's payment involved, there would be overstay fees, and that would be
penalised. Yeah, and what about that point that let's be honest, it's the middle classes, the semi-detached, the people with detached property who can put a wire out the window and not trip anybody up. It'll be on their own property. For little terrace streets like ours, we've talked about this as neighbours, Darren. The little trench, like they put in the trenches for the electric, for the internet, for your water and all the rest. And there's a little trench out in front of most terrace houses, and you'll notice the water side anyway, under the footpath. I mean, why not just build that into the curbs, that when you're lucky enough to park in front of your own house or nearby, that you simply plug in?
We completely agree. I mean, the 20% of people in Northern Ireland that don't have off-street parking is a real concern for the association. So we've been pushing DFI to adopt some schemes from GB, such as Gully, it's called, is one example, where there would be a gully, literally a gully, for the cable to be presented there. So there is solutions out there.
But what happens if but this is it, we talked about, man, if you want a street to test this out, and take our street, we'll be your guinea pigs. But if you plug into that gully and I drive over your lead and bust it, what happens there?
Well, it would be protected by this gully, so you wouldn't be able to. Admittedly, the only car could park in is the one nearest to the gully.
Exactly.
So it's not perfect, and there's lamppost options, and there's other options as well. There's the ORCS grant, which is the on-street residential charging. There's 124 chargers coming as part of that, and not to every council, admittedly, but to 9 of the councils. Right. So there's 124 chargers, and that will put chargers close in car parks, close to the areas where there is no off-street parking. Well, that's a great step forward, but by all means, that's one of our main concerns, is those that can't do this.
Well, listen, I mean, it's smart. With the Foyle Arena, there'll be people who'll plan their Saturdays around, plug in on a Saturday morning. If you're lucky enough to get the thing, let the weans have a swim. That's smart. Foyle Valley Car Park as well, that's becoming busier and busier all the time. Just 2 for a city is nothing really to be writing home about, and all the more reason to talk about it in that session. Darren, keep us informed.
We will do.
Appreciate that. Darren Henderson there, the co-founder of the Electric Vehicle Association for Northern Ireland. Easily found, non-profit, on Twitter, and they're very informative, and they tend to be fair about their stuff, to my eye anyway, when it comes to the progress or lack of it in this particular part of the world.